You have 24 hours before your next exam and you're kind of losing your mind. I mean, how do you even study a day before your exam? That's what today's video is about. I'm going to be showing you exactly what you're going to be doing from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep to get the best grade possible 24 hours before your actual exam. Also, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be assuming that you've been doing past papers and you're pretty much thorough with the concept of whatever you've been learning, because that is what it should be looking like a day before your exam. So without further ado, let's begin. Before we move on to 24 hours before your exam, let's talk about the night before, because on that night you're supposed to be getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. 7 works, but 8 to 9 is the best for optimal performance. You want to be getting enough sleep because the next day you're going to be waking up at 7 a.m. and I don't want you to feel, tired, groggy and all of that stuff, because you must be on your peak performance for that day. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about your first thing, the morning routine. You're going to wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and the first thing that you're going to do before anything, before even touching your phone or drinking water, is make your bed. There are tons of scientific evidences that show that making your bed first thing in the morning actually leads to a much more productive day, whereas if you leave your bed and make it up later. Then after that, you want to take a cold shower and get ready. You also want to do some meditation, because meditation, if you're feeling nervous, meditation will help calm you down and basically allow you to bring your focus to what is, the most important thing, which is your exam the next day. And after that, you can also journal for a bit, because if you're feeling anxious, if you're still feeling a bit nervousness, you can open up a Notion page or you can open up a notes page and just type your feelings in that. Say, how are you feeling? What was your preparation like? That will not only help you, get off your feelings and write it down somewhere, but also it will leave a mark as a memory. So when in the future, when you're like, let's say 25 and you still have that page, you can come back and look, damn, this is what I was feeling a day before my exam. So, it's from that memory part a bit, but that's what you want to be doing as soon as you wake up. So this is going to last from 7 to 8 a.m. Now 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is going to be your revision session 1. In this revision session, you're going to go through basically the entire syllabus in one sitting. If I have, let's say, a chemistry unit 2 exam tomorrow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit down and look at every notes that I have for, chemistry unit 2. I'm going to make sure that I'm thorough with everything, that I know of everything, and that I'm not missing anything out, because that is so important that you've covered everything before you move on to past papers. Basically, you're just going to be going through everything from scratch, seeing the definitions, for chemistry especially, you're going to have a lot of mechanisms and all of that. Make sure that you know everything, and you just revise it for a bit and see, test your knowledge on it. All you're doing is making sure that you did not miss out on anything important. Now 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. is going to be your breakfast and break. When you're eating breakfast, you don't want to go too heavy. You don't want to eat an all English breakfast, because what it is that if you eat something too heavy, and this is also scientifically proven, you tend to feel lazy afterwards, and your work ethic just goes that a bit down. So you don't want to eat too heavy. Maybe make yourself some boiled eggs or scrambled eggs or whatever you want to eat. Just make sure that it's not too heavy. Also, you want to be avoiding carbs as much as you can, because simple carbohydrates can lead to rapid spikes and crashes of blood sugar, which can cause brain fog, which means even if you try to study, your brain feels as if it has a cloud around it. So whenever you try to study, it's not going to work out. So make sure that you're avoiding carbohydrates as well. Now 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. is going to be your first past paper session. 24 hours before your exam, you don't want to overburden yourself. So for the sake of today, we're only going to be doing 2 past papers, and only 2. Do not go more than 2. Those 2 past papers you're going to be doing in the strict exam conditioning. You're going to see how much you're getting. You're going to mark with like an examiner would, and you will basically see a day before exam how your preparation is. Think of it as one final test before your actual exam to see how you've been doing and what your progress is like, and how much can you expect tomorrow. Once you finish paper, as I said, you're going to mark it accordingly and see where you went wrong and improve on your mistakes. It's better late than never. If you're making mistakes at this point, just go through them and see how can you avoid making them in the actual exam tomorrow. 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. is your break. You've already done 1 past paper session, so it's time you get some good deserved break. In this break, try not to go on your phone, because your exam is tomorrow and you can easily get distracted. Instead, try to go out in your living room or go out of your house to go for a walk for a bit, or talk to your families or friends, call them up and see their progress. But don't do anything that can stimulate your brain and get you distracted. So no TikTok, no Instagram, avoid YouTube as much as you can, because you don't want to overstimulate your brain, because when you come back to studying, you're going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, because this is not giving me as much dopamine as other activities such as scrolling on your phone would give you. Now, once you finish your break, next comes the second past paper session from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. This time, make sure you lock the hell in, because this is going to be the last past paper you're going to be doing before your exam, and you want to make sure that this is going to be the final one and that you're going to give it your all and try to get the best grade possible. You know, it's also, if you get a good grade, it's also going to be a big confidence booster that, you know, okay, I'm getting a very good grade and tomorrow I'm going to ace the exam. And same as before, you're going to go through the paper and mark it according to the marking scheme and see how many marks you lost and how you can improve it next time. Now, once you've done this past paper session, you're going to have another break for 30 minutes, which is going to be from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Again, this is just a short standard break which you're going to give to your mind, you know, cool down and just enjoy itself for a bit before going back to studying, because you know you've been studying all day, so you want to take a bit of rest by now. Now, at this point, your break has ended and now it's 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. you're not going to be doing past papers, but rather you're going to be revising those past papers that you've done before. I'm going to assume that you've done plenty of past papers by now. You know, all the weeks leading up to this exam, you've done plenty of past papers. So what you want to do, I'm sure you have all of those past papers in one place. You want to go through them one by one, see where you made your mistakes, on how, if there's any unique questions that you can note down or any unique information that you learned that that you didn't know before, and just note down information in one place. Basically, what you're doing is you're revising every single past paper. You're not redoing it. You're just looking at your answers, seeing that how you wrote it, what you did good, what you did bad, how can you improve it next time, and you're just comparing and contrasting what you did before and what you're doing now. So it's just, you know, evidently it's just one last revision session, which will allow you to basically see where you went wrong, how you progressed over the time, and just, you know, learn a bit more. Now, from 7 to 8 p.m. is your dinner and break. Eat dinner now and prepare yourself for tomorrow. Also, this is another scientific evidence that you should not eat heavy before going to sleep, or you should not eat at all before going to sleep. That's why I kept dinner so early, so that you finish off and you still have like at least 3 hours to spare before bedtime. So you don't want to, you know, burden your stomach as well. So when you're sleeping, you can get the best optimal sleep for tomorrow. And once you finish dinner, you can take a break for a bit. You know, you can use your phone for a bit finally, because you've worked very hard the whole day. Now it's time for some, you know, you can consume a bit of content if you want, and then you're going to go back to studying. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is going to be your final revision session. And this, what you're going to be doing, aiming is like, if you've not, you know, if from the previous session, if you've not completed revising your past papers, you're going to do that. But essentially what this is going to be, it's going to be skimming through whatever you've learned by now and just making sure that you've not forgotten anything, you remember everything, because by now your concept should be thorough. Also, a side note, please do not go on any WhatsApp group chats or like your study group chats with your friends at this point, because they're going to be panicking. They're going to be sending new questions you've never seen, questions that will never even appear in your exam on the WhatsApp group chat, and you're going to just stress out by thinking, I've not learned this, what is this? And then you're just going to start stressing, which is not good for you. Your cortisol levels will spike, leading you to feel horrible, and you're just going to be stressed out. There's no point. Whatever revision you've done up until now is enough. Now it's just time for you to get a good night's rest. Now that we've done everything, you've completed all of your revision sessions, you've done all of the past papers for today, it's time for your night routine, which is lasts from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Because we have to wake up early for an exam tomorrow, we're going to go to bed early as well. Sleeping early before an exam is low-key like top 5 best, most productive things that you can do for yourself before an exam. It helps you retain information like crazy. So please go ahead and try to get at least like 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Preferably 8 is the most ideal number, because I understand like some of you may not be able to sleep because of stress and all. That's why go to bed early so that you can get, you know, a bit of sleep. If you have something like melatonin pills, take them, because you need sleep at this point. A deep good night's rest would help you a lot when it comes to remembering information as well. So make sure that you sleep early. Also, before you actually go to sleep, make sure that you have everything ready for tomorrow. For example, you must have your statement of entry. If you're going to give a physics exam, make sure you're not walking into the exam hall without a calculator, because that will not be the ideal scenario. Your stationery, your eraser, your pens, your scale, whatever you need for the exam, make sure that you have it, because you don't want to be that guy who's asking everyone for stationery in the exam hall. So make sure that you have everything prepared beforehand. And yeah, that's about it. That's what I would personally do a day before the exam, because you also don't want to take a lot of stress before the exam. That's why I'm only doing 2 past papers to check, you know, my level. If you're doing more past papers, I would not recommend it, because all it does is stresses you out more. At this point, you should just, revisit all of the past papers that you've done and just do 2 extra to test your performance. That is what I would do, and this is how it worked for me and a few others as well. To be honest, you studied a lot for this exam, and you don't have to panic at all, because if you really did study, it all comes down to this moment, and then when you go to the exam hall, you will remember everything. There's a feeling before the exam where like you're saying to your friends, I can't remember anything that I've learned, I'm forgetting everything. But when you actually do the exam, everything comes back to you naturally. So do not worry, do not panic, just stay calm and just go in with whatever you've already learned. If you truly did study for this exam, trust me, it's gonna go by like a breeze, and inshallah you're gonna get the grade that you wanted. So make sure that you're ready with that, and just good luck with your exams. If you like this video, please go ahead and leave a like right now. You can subscribe to the channel right over here, and you can check out this video on why A-levels are so hard right over here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you with another video very soon. Take care and goodbye.